Something I want to do as well when we get back to Narvis is try and redo this whole spaceport area. What if we did car? This is basically a 2x2 chest. I present to you the car centipede. Legendary chest. You can make that big. Artillery shells. We had the first one firing. Bang. We call this the Fort Knox of space age. Here we are, back on Narvis. I did a few little tweaks. Carbon fiber shipments are finally going again, so that's really good. We also got the bioflux sorted out, and we're shipping it back to Narvis. As you can see here, we have a little bit of bioflux sitting on the belts where they're not spoiled. That's really good. I think that means it's time that we can start trying to make biter eggs again, and we can make productivity modules out of that. So I'm going to grab some of our spare capture bot rockets. I think I just fired, don't I? There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. I can plonk down some electromagnetic plants here. This is going to be tier 3 productivity. If I make a bunch of requester chests, requesting the ingredients for these. Alright, so that's going to be our biter eggs. The other problem is if those biter eggs hatch, then we will have a problem keeping all this alive. So we should be able to just place a bunch here and then run a quick little belt into a chest. And we should also chuck some quality modules in there. There we go. Cool. So that's going to make us productivity modules. We have a little bit of a disaster with our trains. I tried to solve them yesterday with the chain signals, but that hasn't seemed to work. And I think it's got something to do with this intersection here. It is causing a big problem though, because we're not delivering iron and other stuff to our research depot, which means our green science has completely died, and the blue science. So let's go check that out. I'm also considering maybe just redesigning that whole intersection anyway, because something like this worked really, really well. I think that's because, yeah, it's all just one big piece. And then after the trains, there's a few things I want to try. Is redoing this layout to try and squeeze some more speed beacons, because someone mentioned you can get 14 speed beacons acting on a single biolab at a time. I want to try that because right now we've only got 6 acting on one. I want to try and get that 14. That'll be really cool. We also have problems where some of them do fill up with spoilage. I do have these inserters here trying to get the spoilage out, but I didn't put one on here, but I think I can do this layout a bit better. I want to get rid of all this because I need to upscale production and space is starting to become a bit of a luxury here. But if I redo the science production in other parts of the factory and then deliver the science by trains, I think we can get a little bit of a better total throughput. And we can make use of our new real estate that we claimed back from the biters to do that. What ungodly mess have I caused here? How does this work? I've got a chain here and I've got a chain over here. If I change that to a chain and this to a chain, nope, he's lost. It's possible it's because I have the loop. That's green. That's green. But I think it's because this carriage is actually stuck on here. But that's possibly because we just need to get them kick-started. Yeah, I think this whole madness might also be causing us problems. I think it's time we try and redo this. Get rid of that. This passes all the way through, so let's get rid of this. Trains are moving again. Oh, okay. I'm still getting terrified by these trains. Keep thinking they're going to run me over. There we go. So that should be a little more sensible. Now, what's going on here? We do have a station here, so we need to be mindful that we need to keep that station. Now, here's an idea I have. So this is what our current junction looks like, but that's for changing directions. So we would need something like this. But then we need a way for trains to turn around. So, no, it doesn't fit. Why don't you fit? God damn it. I was thinking, what if we built like a train roundabout around the intersection so trains that need to turn around can? Oh, that's... No, okay, I don't think that's going to work. I suppose I don't need to do that if everything's been done properly. Which train actually needs to turn around? One of these trains needs to turn around, which is the whole reason why everything went wrong. but it doesn't look like they're doing it now. Probably because I got rid of the turnaround, so they're picking a longer path. So maybe... Oh, hang on. The nuclear train comes in and turns around and then heads all the way back up to the weapons facility and lands here because this is backwards. Okay, I'm going to relocate this whole loop. Those trains still scare me. All right, so instead, I'm going to place a ramp here and then run this around. Oh, hang on. We can't squeeze this in between, can we? Oh, that's upsetting. I'd really like to squeeze one of these in between. Damn. I think they're part of a 2x2 grid, which is making that impossible. That's the one thing I dislike about rail networks in this game is they are on that 2x2 grid. I'm going to have to modify this. We can do that. That works. There we go. All right, that's connected back up. Nice. And then we now have our rail support in here. So this needs to change a little bit. There we go, like that. Then our little rail ramp can come up here. Oh, that's still scaring me. Yeah, that's looking a little nicer, I think. And then we can connect this back up. Is that looking nice and rounded? I mean, I suppose it is. It doesn't look rounded though because of this area. Okay, and then that connects up like that. Nice. Quick little rail signal here. Probably split these apart. Nice. I think that's a better way of doing that. And now we don't have these silly little loops everywhere. Now there's a few things we need to do as well with the rails is we have to bring a rail all the way around to here. So if we grab some of this, I want to try and get a rail going in through here. I think that'd look really nice. I think that looks good. I love the little wiggle that the track's doing. Well, there's fish in the water. Been a while since I've seen fish in the water. We can start erasing this wall. So if we just run all this, make sure not to destroy our rail that we just laid, and the robots can get busy with that. Except, what happened to our robots? We only have 4 construction bots left. Okay, I think they've all been dying. And we also have to... Ooh. Ooh, what's going on here? Interesting, these artillery turrets don't target the enemies, but they do target the bases and the worms. It'd be nice if I could set them to just target everything. That would be fun. All right, let's grab some more construction robots and shove them back in the network. All right, they're all dead. Let's get into a bit of fun before we get on with the big science project. It's Christmas, and I thought, why don't we try and get a little bit into the festive spirit and build us a little bit of a Christmas tree? If I plonk this down and realize that I'm completely out of belts, I've built this little Christmas tree off camera. My idea is if we build a whole bunch of lamps and say, decorate the tree, I want to try a little circuit logic and build a timer that will pulse these lamps different colors over time, just to get a bit of a decoration going. What do we think of that as an idea? I need to power all these. I think we can probably... I need more range. I need a bigger range on this. Okay, hang on. How far do substations reach if they're legendary? 28. Okay, so we basically almost double it with a big one. Okay, let's try that. For the time being, I will just hook them up with regular substations. Plug that in like that. All right, so there's our tree. And we can come in here, we can decorate them with different colors. So I'm thinking we can do some reds. We can do some greens. You all see the vision? Should we have any more colors? Should we try blue and yellow, or do we think this is good enough? Let's set that to always on. But yeah, I want to do a little bit of complex circuit logic just to try and learn a bit more about how to do circuits. You should put an artillery at the top. That is a funny idea, actually. Let's see if we can do that. Oh, it's not quite gonna be symmetrical though. That is, I mean, we could just do two. Maybe these guys up here can be yellow. Yeah, I think that looks cool. I don't know how to do timers in this game. We need things that move over time. And the only thing that does that are belts. So what if we drop a lamp on the belt, What if we set this up so we connect these two together, and this is going to read the belt, and then we need our lamp signal. And if our lamp signal is equal to 1, then we output a green signal. T plus 1, T modulo 1. Ooh, okay, hang on. What does that look like? Whoa! Oh, that's genius. Here I was going to do this silly little belt thing. So then if we grab our lamp, turn that on, then wire this up, use colors, color components. So then if this outputs, can we change red to T? I suppose I could change this circuit, this logic to use the red. There we go. Ooh. Okay, and then if we change this to modulo 255 to get our full color range. Yeah, it's coming up. Ooh. What we need to do is, I need our first ever constant combinators to output a signal of green set to 255 and blue set to 255. Okay, so now this will... No, hang on, wait. Is there a way I can interpolate? There's no interpolate, is there? I need to offset the phasing on this so that when this reaches 255, we're at 0 green, but then when we're at 0... Wait a minute. No, hang on. We've got a problem here. We got a problem here. When this hits 255, we need to start going the other way. I think the easiest way... Do we have an absolute? Do we have an absolute operation? No, we don't. Dang it. How do we do a pulsing light then? The only thing I can think of... This goes green, so if we wire this up, set this to 255. Yep, okay, that flashes green. Oh, I have an idea. Let's disconnect that and connect this to here. So then we can copy these settings, but then change this to red. Oh, okay, hang on. There we go. There we go. Oh, that's going to get noisy. Hey, there we go. We've got a pulsing... Well, we've got a strobing light. Yeah, that would be quite an intense bit of circuit logic to go to get this to phase. Because this is cool. Okay, the next thing we can do is can we wirelessly connect this instead of using wires? Because it would be a little ugly. I mean, okay, wires would look a little like tinsel, I suppose. If I grabbed a radar and then we connect this up and we connect that to the logistic network. Oh, but that's enable disable. We can't control the color of lamps on wirelessly? No, you're kidding. All right, tinsel it is. Okay, so the question now is, do we run a wire from over here? What's going on? Gleba, not again. No, I gotta resist. I have to resist. Today is not Gleba day. Do we try and wire up the lights from over here? Or do we try and set up circuit logic on these belts and then have them read the values of this belt? That might look cool. Let me see. How would that look with a whole bunch of items running around? Is it too distracting? Then if we wire this up, I'm going to wire the red lamps together, and then we can wire the green lamps together, and then we can grab our little arithmetic combinators. Oh yeah, okay, here's an idea. We can have these guys hanging from underneath the tree as like little hanging decorations. Yeah, that's starting to look cool. I want to pulse these lights in opposite phases so that we have greens on half of them and reds on the other half. And then they kind of just swap colors. The way we did it over here, we just had different corners of this reading the lamps. But if we changed it over here so that they read different items, we can then color code using these inserters and the colors of the inserters. Will this grab... We want stack size of 1. Will this grab... 1, 2... It does grab them in sequence. Ooh! I think you guys can probably see my idea here. Okay, so if we queue that up now... God, no, hang on, wait. I gotta make sure it's a stack size of 1 first. Okay, so if we queue that up, he's gonna start placing down items, and then I need to make sure to disconnect him when the items start coming back around. Now. It's not perfect, but we'll see how that looks. The next thing we need to do is start reading these signals. So we can do this a little bit differently. We can say, read the belt contents. If we read green inserter, we output a signal. And if we read red inserter, we output a red signal. And then we need to make sure that these are all connected properly. Why did I do such a mess? Oh, I wish there was a way to easily just cut wires. Why did I do this to myself? Okay, so if we connected these up and then we told each and every one of these to use the color mapping. Ooh. Okay, here we go. So if we then copy this over, but they're not exactly staying on for long, are they? Problem is it's too short of a pulse. The New Year's resolution learn circuits. Yeah, this is tricky. Okay, hang on. What if... Ooh, okay, hang on. Oh boy, okay, hang on. We might need to change this into fast inserters. Set the priority, set the stack size to 1, and then wire these up. Enable disable if the green signal is greater than 0. And if we chuck a lamp in there. Wait, this might work. Oh, it's cursed, but it might work. Change this up to say green, that's fine. And then if we do or red inserter on there, we pulse. There we go, that moves them a little quicker. Okay, and then what we can do next is we can wire these up. This is so stupid. It's cursed. I know it's cursed, chat, but trust, it works. And then if we read a signal of lamp, okay, we're getting a lamp. So if we get lamp, we send out green signal. How do we do an else statement in here? We copy that over here, join those up. If lamp is equal to not 0, we can change that to blue. And maybe we also give a little bit of the other colors. Oh, okay, we can do some RGB. Some RGB. Okay, no, hang on, that's lavender. We don't want lavender. Okay, there we go. So that gets us some blue in the Christmas tree. So now if we just copy the settings over. Ooh, we've got a blinking Christmas tree. All right. So then if we copy that over to here. Ooh. It's blinking. Chat, it's blinking. What do we think? Does that look good with the blue, or do we want to change the blue to a different color? It'd be cool if we could get these to shine brighter than that. There we go, there's our Christmas tree. Should put uranium ore on the belt. Ooh. That's a good idea, I like it. Is there anything else we can stick on here? Some yellow inserters could be fun. Just to add a bit of color. Not spoilage. Not coal, we're not putting coal under here either. Yeah, I think that's pretty fun. Off camera, I might go and modify that to use legendary substations. But that's that.